Well, thank you for coming to the No Cap podcast. We have a very, very special guest.
Hey,
Very special guest, Franky Treau.
hey, I feel honored to be here. Thank you for having me for sure.
Of course. How was your day? How's been?
Oh man, it's been a wild day. We just been just on go since this morning. We just wrapped up like kind of what we talked about before. The Keys to the City Volume 3. Me, Don, B Rail, shout out to Beezy Beats. He put together this compilation, and we had the blessing and the pleasure to be on the first one, and then we hit on this third one. We got the lead singer on the third one. We just finished a video on Thursday. I want to say we did a video Thursday, and then today was the photo shoot and stuff like that. So we just been on the go, had a little quick nap, you know, and then we got more things to do after this. So it's just a
Yes.
long day.
Like I was telling you guys, I love seeing the progress, love seeing everything you guys are like doing, everything you're accomplishing,
Yeah.
like your journey, like just watching everything from you guys, learning everything from you guys. It's just like a proud moment. And like B Real said, love, success, and progress.
Yeah. Yes, you think about it like as we do things one day at a time, you're always a student of the business. You're always learning from the next person. Surrounding yourself around those type people is where you can soak it up like a sponge. So I look at everything as a learning experience for myself too. So everybody that I'm around, no matter where I may place myself within, from a career standpoint, musically or things like that,
Mhm.
I'm always gonna learn from the people that I'm around. So the energy is always there.
Yeah,
It's
most
always there.
definitely. Let's talk about where you grew up and where you're originally from.
Okay. I am originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I've been out here a little bit a minute, but yeah, born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. Spent part of my childhood in Detroit when I was with my dad. My mom was out there too, but your majority of my life was in Nashville. It ain't what people think either. Everybody always thinks because you're from Nashville, oh, it's country music and it's country this. Yeah, I can take you to a lot of places that you would be like, damn, this is Nashville. Might be one don't want to come around these parts, but it ain't what people think it is.
Okay.
But it's a great place to be. It's always a great vibe. Everybody's very welcoming. That Southern gentleman or that Southern hospitality, that's very real. It's just you got to plant yourself, in that space. Have you ever been to Nashville?
Never.
See, you got to change your life. You
I
go there, it'll change your life.
I mean, I can tell the hospitality.
Yeah.
The way that you portray yourself is amazing. I do not see that from any Dago guy.
I hate it all that time. So they be like, you can tell you're not from here because, I don't know. It's just how I was raised.
Yes.
Just
So
how
when
I
I
was raised.
first met you, that's when I was like, I know he ain't from Dago.
Oh, yes. No.
That's even before we started, vibing with each other
Right.
more and stuff. But how was it being like during your time in Nashville? Because you're saying you also grew up in Detroit. In your time in Nashville, is that where your music was born, like being there or moving out?
So I would say yes and no. The music really started in Detroit. That's where I started doing music. I've always my family is musically inclined on my mom's side, so everybody did music. Down to like my granddad was used to tour with Jimi Hendrix back in the day.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't think pictures with my mom and him, and they got Ike Tina like that type of vibe. Like that my
Wow.
granddaddy used to be like real heavy in music, but for me, where I took a liking into music, I was 8, and I never forget I was at my cousin's house in Detroit, and it was me, my brother, my cousins, and we was just my dad used to have the CD, the Hot Boys.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
hot girl, so you the 99s, 2000s,
Uh-huh.
I need that hot girl.
Yeah.
Oh, well, L's that slap,
Yeah.
but my dad had that back in the day when you used to get CDs where it was the single, the acapella, the instrumental.
Okay.
And yeah, we vibed out to the instrumental, and then me and my cousins and my brother, we was just vibing. And ever since then, I just was like, let's get it. But Nashville is really where it took off because when we moved back to Nashville, now mind you, I was already living back in Nashville by 98, showing my age, right? So 8. Um, but we would still obviously go spend time with my dad during the summer and things like that. It really took off for me as I got into like middle school. Middle school for sure. That was the era where we was doing if you familiar with like clips and like grinding, and we used to beat on the lunch tables and
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
that's where it's like
Grinding.
right big.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so that's where it really started from, and then took it from there in my apartments I grew up in. We took it. We were sitting on the porch of my partner's porch,
Uh-huh.
had the Xbox where we used to upload music and stuff, and that's just really where it took off. Like for sure, grounded me in music. I would say Nash, sure, for sure. But I started writing my first rap in Detroit. Hey,
Wow.
yeah.
I see that, well, listening to your music, like,
Mm.
I see how, expanded you are, you just don't stick to one certain type of genre,
Oh yeah, nah.
and I love that. I love that because I feel like it's not it's not bad to just expand yourself and see,
What works?
what works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely gotta do that. Well, I'm not gonna say you definitely have to do that. If that's if that's your vibe, do that. For me, I'm like, they call me the human iPod anything. So I can go from rap, like on my way here, I listen to R&B. People ask me, my favorite genre of music is R&B over rap.
Right.
But I could go from that to pop, to rock, to light rock, like Peter Cetera, like
Okay.
Gloria Love, like that type of that's just what I grew up listening to.
Right.
I'm a fan of music first.
Mhm.
So I do test my limits to see what I can do. I can get in any pocket. There may be things that like, kind of when I got out here and I started rocking with B Rail, started my dog, it was it was the the California thing that I wasn't used to. And I told him, I was like, "Man, I don't know. I try." I said, "I can do anything, but I try it." And again, that was just me because I've always been in those pockets where I can do anything.
Right.
Just on some joke shit. I could joke about a country song or I can write jingles. That was just naturally who I am with music. So I think before it's all said and done, that's one thing about me. I'm gonna try everything at least once. Everything when it comes to music.
The natural talent.
Natural talent.
It's natural talent.
Thank you. Appreciate
To be able to hop on that many genres
it.
and
Yeah.
ace, like, not ace it, how do you say it? You eat it, like, you ate it type shit. I don't know, like, no, like, it's natural talent,
For sure.
and I feel like the confidence that you carry when you hop in that type of track, I can hear it,
Yeah.
everything, and that's what I like. Like I was telling you guys earlier, learning from you guys, one of the main things that I do learn is confidence.
For
If
sure.
you don't have the confidence and you don't walk into, uh, anywhere you go,
Yeah.
like a building and you don't feel or think that you're the shit and you're it and you're that, like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
you have to carry that confidence.
You
You
absolutely
carry it.
you absolutely do, and I appreciate that. When you think about the confidence piece, at the end of the day, you got a lot of people everybody's not gonna like what you do. That's a fact. No matter what music it is, there's so many people out there that don't like some of the records I do. You think I care? I don't. That
Right.
don't mean I'm gonna stop because I have the confidence to say, "All right, cool. I'm gonna keep rocking with how what I like to do. You don't like it, it's cool, but I'm gonna toot my own horn." You know what's even crazier that I say that is I just as of recent, like maybe a year or two ago, started tooting my own horn about, you know, where I've been, what I've done with the music, how far I've came. I'm just one of those ones where I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I think I'm all right. And then just talking to one of my partners back home, and he was just telling me, "Hey, you gotta stop doing that. Like, you gotta get to a point where you tell, like, do you know what I've done? Like, and that's the thing when you talk about having that confidence, you gotta be able to talk your shit. You
Right.
gotta be able to approach any situation, whether it's music, whether it's business, whether it's any endeavor that you try to run into. There's nobody that's gonna take a chance on you just because if you're not confident. They can be like, see, I'm cool.
Mhm.
I'm cool on you because you too iffy.
Yeah.
I'm going into every situation like I've been doing this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna beat out the next competition moving forward.
And it's crazy that you say that not everybody's gonna fuck with what you do because it's true. And I feel like it is, how do you take that? Like when I don't know, to me, because I'm a very, like, emotional person and I be taking a lot of things to heart sometimes. It's kinda hard, like,
It is.
letting go of, "But I want everybody to fuck with me,"
Yeah,
type shit, but
yeah.
it's not like that.
It's not like that. And when you talk about this type of business, it's real finicky because you have to be able to take constructive criticism because everybody's not gonna like it. I did a song a long time ago and I shot a video to it. It's called Uptown Nashville. I was at a skate park. I love watching like X Games type style. Like that's on my bucket list of things to do. I want to perform music for like the X Games, but like I'm really into like the BMX skateboard type,
Oh, okay.
watching that type stuff. So I did a thing there at Uptown Nashville on YouTube. It got like, 30, 40,000 views, like, and everybody was kind of rocking with it, but there was just somebody in there was talking about, how trash it, like, oh, you wanna be fake because you at a skate park knowing you don't skate. You're right, I don't. But I read and I laughed. Or even, bro, like, even when I did the show in February in San Diego, the day after we did this SeaWorld show.
Okay.
And somebody was on my TikTok talking about, yeah, this is probably one of them guys. I never heard of him. He's probably one of those rappers in his mom's basement trying to make it. So I took it and laughed. I just like, hey, what's up, y'all? I'm in my mom's basement, support my music so I can get out. But you gotta do those things
Yes.
because if you get consumed to that shit, why you think so many people now like mute their comments because they don't want to see that shit?
Right.
It don't bother me. I love it. I feed off of that type of energy because you think I'm gonna stop because of that? And one of my songs I got that ain't out yet called Mine, I was like, how do I take me advice from a nigga that's never been popping? Like, why do I take
Right.
advice from you? Who are you? Like,
Right.
the fuck?
That
What are you
is
doing
so
here?
true
What are you doing?
though. That is so true. Somebody I, I'm telling you, I have so many like people around me that I'm so grateful and thankful for because that's a blessing to have
Yeah.
that many people around you in the industry that aren't gatekeeping anything and they're about it, they're about teaching you.
Right.
And I forgot what I was gonna say.
She's like, in preaching. And
No, but one of the things that they did say was, um, if you are not gonna be able to handle a negative comment, don't even look at the comments, right? And not so long ago, a couple of days ago, I posted something and somebody commented on the bottom said, "Oh, a bunch of tortas waiting for a hamburger or something like that." And I was like, I love me In and Out
yeah,
double cheeseburger.
for sure. You gonna
You
buy
know,
one?
but I really wanted to say something else, but then I was like, "Yeah, no, let me just make this like a laughing type thing."
True.
Yes.
Because you're gonna get consumed in that, and it's gonna turn into something bigger. And if you are, like you said, you're very emotional, you're either gonna lose it, you're gonna say things that could get and I always think this piece, when we talk about whether it's a brand deal or things like that, you could say things that'll get you terminated from making any type of money with these brands. So I think on all that, all of that, man, it just comes with the territory. Even with our podcast, our first show, I never forget. I had on a pair of Nikes, and they come all the way up to the leg, right? They was frying me. I went at everybody though, cause I was a big dude growing up. So you gotta be able to throw them. Like
Yeah.
I come from an area where I'm cooking anybody. Like yeah, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fry you. So I literally had it was probably like 15, 16 people in the comments, and I'm going at everybody net, every one of them, because I enjoyed it though. It didn't even hurt me, but you gotta be ready for that. Now
Yeah.
I was and it didn't make me no difference. I did stop because I'm like, "Alright, it's a lot of people." I got I'm like,
It's too much.
"It's too much now." I'm like, but it didn't kill me, but I laughed about it. But
Yeah.
again, like, if you can't do those type of things, then don't even cut your comments on. Limit your comments. Just keep your likes on. You can hide likes, you can hide comments, just do that. But I encourage you not to because how are you gonna grow without it might be somebody there might be a comment out there aside from the bullshit that be like, "Dang, you know what? I really rock with your platform. I love your music. You resonated to me." And you miss that because you don't wanna see the negative. But who's to say that there's that positivity in those comments that keeps you pushing? If you think about having an energy or a battery in your back of why you do things, sometimes I do it for the stranger. Sometimes I do it for my family because of what I bring to them, and they proud just to hear, like, "I'm proud of you." It's cool with me, but also hearing it from a stranger when I do a song and they be like, "Wow, when you talk about your mom, man, like, I just lost my mom to X, Y, and Z, bro. That touched me," or that really heartfelt.
Yeah.
Bro, keep going. But you'll never see that if you block out everything because you don't wanna see the negative side of the things. There's never all positive. There's always a negative to something.
Right.
So you just gotta be ready
True.
for it.
Oh yeah. I feel like the journey is just hard itself.
Oh, yeah.
It's just hard. And you know what? It's crazy. We were talking about in the last podcast when I had Alize and Elena MC on here, and how it. I feel like for like males, it's
Yeah.
a little easier when it comes to like the music industry, right?
Okay.
everything's like the same, I wanna say, like, everybody gets those negative,
Yeah.
positive comments and everything. But I feel like, and this is just like my personal thing, I don't know you as a male, like in your point of view, for a woman, it's like it's much harder to be in a male-dominated industry because it is a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
So I feel like I maybe this is bad to do, right? But I've gone through the rabbit
Mhm.
hole where I look at males' comments and then I look at the females, and I'm just like, Jesus, they really don't like women in the industry, you know? But it's like you said, I also see the positives where there's women out there that are like, "Oh my god, you guys are setting the example. You guys are like, you guys push me for this," or that specific female artist, like,
Yeah.
you helped me to push into going into the studio." And I'm just like, wow, like, I feel like you said, muting comments,
Mhm.
maybe it's good, but I feel like it's like the constructive criticism that actually builds your character in that industry.
I definitely do, and Imma come back to that, but you're right in a sense that it is a male-dominated, uh, industry. Well, I would say when it comes to music and rappers,
Mhm.
I would say that. But there is so much talent, like talented rappers out there, like women rappers, and you can get inspiration from all of them. I'm not one of those ones that don't want to see women prosper in the music and rap because we need that. We need a what's the word I can we need a blend of everything. You can't just get stuck to that because women have their own perspectives. Women talk about things that men can't talk about, or women channel emotions differently than men in a certain aspect. Or maybe you're a mother and you're a rapper. You got different avenues to talk about. I'm all for empowering women to continue. If you want to be a rapper, run it, go crazy. Like when we talk about the from the emotional standpoint, like mutant comments and things like that, it does build that character. It does. You might create one of the greatest records of your life reading through them comments.
Right?
Now, what I will say is when it's to a point where you are super big and famous, I wouldn't give a shit what the comments say. I'm already made it. What
That part,
what
yeah.
can you tell me now that will tear me out of my element because I've already made it? Or at least I've made it to the level that I consider myself successful. There's nothing that you can tell me in those comments that's going to say otherwise. Because guess what? I'm going to go on a tour. I'm going to sell out this. I'm going to sell out that. And you're still going to comment on some bullshit. It don't make me no difference. As you're growing, I could see where I might want to silence a little bit of that because it could tear you down. When you talk about how the journey's hard, it's hard for women. It's also hard for men when you think about oversaturated music. Everybody wants to be an artist.
Right.
That ain't exclusive to men or women or to women who identify as men who identify as women.
Mhm.
I'm just saying it's the pool that's so big
Right.
with not necessarily talent, but just people who do music. There's
Mm.
motherfuckers out here that's getting famous off of doing a song called "Sweet Sweet," beep beep beep. And they're like, it's crazy. Like, how? How did
It's
he
so true though.
and that's another thing that tears people down when you talk about the journey is so hard because I know I got talent, and you be like, "I know that I have talent." Like, this single I got, I mean, with Forever, I know that record is crazy.
Yeah.
I know it is, and it's going to continue to reach the heights that it's going to reach, but there's people out there that got records that are bigger than mine, and you be like because everybody's not a fan of everybody's shit, like we
Yeah.
just talked about, there's things that you ain't a fan of, there's shit I ain't a fan of. I'm just
Yeah.
like, "How?"
But it's still a how and a
Yeah,
big question mark because
yeah,
you're like, where?
yeah,
You know?
but again, that's where they tell you, it's like 20% talent, 80% of who you know, or 80% of what you do. It's people out there working harder than me, and I commend you, and I don't knock anybody, regardless if I'm a fan of your work or not, I don't knock you. You out there doing your thing, go get a bag. Go get a bag. It ain't my lane, it ain't my gimmick, it's cool, but go get a bag and go do that thing. So, yeah, it's male dominated, but women still tear shit up out there, and I'm a fan of a lot of, like, women rappers, even in the industry. I was just listening to Tierra Whack's new album,
Oh,
and it's strictly hip hop. I'm like, "Wow."
I heard one song. and that one song, I was like, "Okay, I need to go back and listen to that."
in that bag, yeah. But I get inspired by stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I love women in general, but I love women in the industry, women in rap. Like, pop your shit.
Yeah, for
Got to.
sure. There's a lot of women out there that are so talented.
It's so many
Super
talented women.
talented, yeah, and I'm just like, "Geez, girl, what is you doing? Why aren't you" "No," and that's the you know what? That's one of the main things that it does tear a woman down because we're so emotional,
Yeah.
and I feel like you have to learn to have they say it in the Mexican, culture, you build callo, which is kinda like you build, like, that hard layer in the
Mm.
skin type thing, so it's like you have to have thick skin
Yeah.
to be able to be here, and it it's hard. It's hard to learn, but for sure. Talk about your single though.
Oh,
Going back to the single.
okay, okay, yeah. So I put out a single back in March called "Forever." The record's about just basically that love, like whether it was, when you was in high school, you had that crush or your first love, your first love. And then when that went bad, he was just like, this is, I will never find another. But you think about forever, or it resonates for the people now that have their relationships that are in their marriages or in these long-term relationships, like, hey, this is my forever. And that's what it's about. I put that out and we was just testing the market with it. I knew it was gonna be one of the ones when I did it. I didn't expect it to go into the summer. A lot of records, when you putting out records, if you're really putting the emphasis behind it and promoting and things like that, you 6-week run and you
Mhm.
kinda get the ads behind it or you get the promo. You're doing everything you can within those 6 weeks because the attention span is very limited.
Mm, for
This
sure.
record has ran into the summertime that it was unexpected, and we still ain't put the video out yet, which I tell you here, y'all get the exclusive first too, but I'm debuting that video next Friday and doing BET weekend. We finna go
You
crazy.
heard it on No Cap
You heard it here first.
first.
Next Friday, and we just finna go crazy, and I've
Yeah.
been sitting on this video, uh for a couple months now and just waiting
Yeah.
on some other things because it's some other obligations
Mm.
from a business standpoint that is supposed to be in place. But I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm tired of waiting and it's gonna come out. So, but that record is doing crazy, is going crazy. Everybody that hears it, like, rock with it. I love that record so much. I don't get tired of listening to it. My daughter,
Yeah.
every single day,
Oh.
I come downstairs, whether I'm upstairs, whatever, she's in the living room and she's like, "Daddy, it's you on TV." And she'll play the video, or I'm in the car, I'm taking her to school, and I'm like, "What you want? We gonna listen to?" "I wanna hear your song." I said, "My song again? You don't get tired of it?"
Oh,
And she
no.
sings it. And every time I'm downstairs and, like, I did a video on my IG, and she just and that's why I know the record's crazy because it ain't about it being your daddy's song, it's about that you really like it, and she know the words. She know the word.
Wow, I
So,
love that.
I love that record, and I know, again, it's going to take me places, and it has taken me places,
Mhm.
for sure. It's taken me a lot of places this year.
You went to the Undisputed it's
That
Undisputed,
was
right?
Undisputed?
The SeaWorld?
Yeah.
That was crazy. I loved watching all of you
Shout
guys
out
there.
shout out to Be Real, man, like, yeah,
Yeah.
here's the thing, and I don't ever go on record to say it, but a lot of my earlier, like, me getting back into music was 'cause of Bro, like, and, a lot of opportunities that I had, like that wasn't me. I will never take credit for things like that. That was a play for him, and luckily, I was
Mhm.
able to create relationships out of that. But, yeah, that, like, if it wasn't for some of those platforms that for opportunities, I wouldn't be there, and that's why I'm always like, "Pay it forward."
Yeah,
Now we in
for
these
sure.
spaces for myself, and I tell him, and I would tell anybody, like, I've been doing music so long, I've done a lot of things with music even before I stopped doing music, that I knew exactly what I needed to do to get back to where I was. Like, I said, "That ain't the hard part. The hard part is actually start doing music again." Once I'm doing music, I know the type of sound I have and the fan base I had, and then we fast forward, and I started doing music again. I did my first single in, like, years with him, with Ride or Die, and then I put out my first project in, like, 10 years, and a year after that, not even a year after that, no, it was a year, like, I had a distro deal, and here it is, we in Texas and New York and LA, and we're everywhere with it, and that was more me like, "Alright, now we here." I tell bro, "We in these rooms, is go do your thing." Like,
Mhm.
because that's my paying it forward, like, "Alright, bro, y'all already know who I'm bringing with me. Y'all look at our socials, It ain't no surprise who is your who. Everybody's on they own collective. Like I'm We Up Music Group, that's LSP. We got Bar Shout to Bar, that's Mob. But everybody thinks that we a group or we a collective
Yeah.
or we just shot the video. They was like, hey, what's y'all group names? We not a group. We
It's
it's
a
it's a
brotherhood.
brother,
It's a
it's family,
brotherhood.
right, folks. It's a collective, but everybody move. It ain't no hating nobody blood. Everybody support everybody. So what you need me to do? If if I'm there to support his show, what y'all need me to do? Do we do merch? Or when the ballet freak and what y'all want me to do? Y'all want me to help set up the tables over here?
Mhm.
Okay, I run tables with Marcus. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever, and yeah. So a lot of this stuff, long story short, a lot of that stuff that early on was definitely that's his place. So shout out to him for sure.
You said you stopped doing music.
I did.
How long did it how like why did okay, first of all,
Go ahead.
why did you
Okay.
stop? And then what brought you to do music again?
Life happened.
Mm.
Life was rough for me for sure. Like when you talk about journey, that's why I named my first project Back Doing Music Journey. And I start talking about my journey from track one. So like my mom passed away in 2012 and I moved here in 2013. Still did a little bit of music, but by that time I had a podcast show, I had a satellite radio show, and we was popping. So I kind of did music here and there, but we was doing so much there in the industry. It was crazy. And then you kind of fast forward a couple years, then my dad died. Mind you, all this happened within a matter of 4 years. I was 25 when my dad died. So I lost both of my parents, but by the time I turned 25. And it just got dark. Like life was dark for me. And I just felt like I had this bad aura. I felt like it was bad luck around me. Um, it just got real dark, and then I had kids. I had my boys, my twin boys, who are 7 now, and that kinda made me stop altogether because I felt like I had to do what I had to do to make sure they was okay. Me and their mom, we're better now when it comes to co-parenting, um, but at that time, we just didn't see eye to eye, and there was a lot going on where I couldn't allow myself to go do other things. Even to this day, which I'll get into it I get to that, but it got to a point where I just felt like I'm not motivated no more. I got unmotivated because the project I put out before Journey, like it was called Dead to Competition. I produced the whole thing. I recorded the whole thing. I wrote the whole thing. I engineered the whole thing. I mastered the whole thing, all in my room. And that should have burned you out.
She
And
I bet.
granted, when I went to school, I got a degree in engineering. So I used to run a studio. But it usually burns you out because you're like, "Damn, I gotta do everything by myself," and you don't have the people around you. Remember, I came out here because I couldn't stay in Tennessee no more. My mom's gone, it's like, I gotta go do something different, and you don't have the same vibes around you because I got brothers back there. Shout out to Style, shout out to Bola, you know, Donnie, like these Miles, rest in peace Miles, rest in peace to Quez. These were my day ones that we was around, we was doing music, and you don't have that out here. So I start losing it, and I felt like my life was in shambles, and I just was like, "Bro, life sucks." I never got to a point where I wanted to end it, I'll be honest. As we're in Men's Mental, Health Awareness Month, I never got to that point, but I was in some dark times, like super duper dark times, and I always wanted to get back to doing music, but I wasn't motivated. And then I started getting motivated to do music, and I would, like, write here and there, and I ran into B. What's crazy is me and B knew of each other, through work, and
Okay.
then we finally, like, locked in, and he was playing beats or whatever, and I locked in after that, and I already it's kinda like them signs, when them signs are there. I heard that, and then I was like, "Alright, cool," start rapping, and bro was like, "Oh, you rapping, da, da, da," didn't know he rapped either, and then that's where me starting to do music again came back because 'cause I'm like, "Alright, that was the sign, like, alright, you need to start doing music again." And then bro hit me with Ride or Die, and I was at work. And I was driving, I was running, like, 9 stores. I was, like, a market manager, and while I'm between stores, I'm right. Not only I write, but I'm so quick with like hooks and verses and everything like that. It
Lyrics.
comes to me, and I send it to him. Hey, bro, what you think? Yeah, I like that. Whatever, whatever. And then I've been on go ever since. And that was where I was able to find it. And it was a perfect time too because my kids were older, and I'm like, I can do this again. But when you fast forward like this year, I'm kinda going through those things. That's kinda why I've been kinda, like, slightly quiet on social media
Right.
because I'm going through it again, and, I'm an open book. I'm going through a divorce, you know what I'm saying? And when you think about shit like that and the situations I'm telling you about with the business standpoint of the music side, I'm going through a lot of those things, and it's mentally draining, and but one thing I won't do is quit this time because I'm too far in. Like,
No, no, for sure. Yeah.
so I got back to doing that and I found my way again, and I felt like me again. So, and when I felt like me again, the music was going crazy. I'm talking
Well, then it wasn't quitting. It
I
was
quit.
a little minor
Oh, no,
setback
no,
for him to come 10 times better.
yeah, I for sure quit though. I had no plans on doing music again.
I'm just trying to make it like,
No,
you ain't a
no.
quitter.
I ain't no quitter. I'm not a quitter. I win, just go. But no, it because here's the thing with that though, like life can tear you down,
Oh, yes, for sure.
and you got to be able to celebrate the wins while you got them because my analogy for life was as I was going through that, it's like, man, it's just my turn to have bad luck. It's your turn. Now, what you do with that can make or break what you do after you get out of the storm. But that was a real, real tough time for me. Like losing parents mentally, I've never been the same person mentally. And I was done because I had that going on. I had a situation with my twins' mom and how that wasn't real cohesive. And uh there was a time where, like, she left, it was just me and the kids, so I quit. Music was not for me anymore because I felt like there were other things. And what I mean by fast forward now, like, it's just like, as my boys are getting older, as my daughter's getting older, I even think about that now. I've been on the road since February, literally. Like, I was so blessed these last couple weeks where I was like, "I'm just gonna chill at home,"
Yeah.
because I know it's about to ramp back up. July's gonna be crazy and all of that.
Please.
But I I look at them now and I'm like, they be like, "Daddy, when you get in the studio?" Or my daughter's like, "I wanna hear your song," and stuff like that. I feel like I get to a space where I'm like, "Man, do I really wanna do this again?" Like, for on this caliber now that I have kids. Because I'm like, "Man, it requires a lot of my time on the road, a lot of my time." Like, we're gonna be in LA 5 days starting Thursday, and I'm like, "Damn, like, do I wanna do this to my kids?" It's not really doing it to my kids, it's doing it for my
For your
kids,
kid.
and I realized that, and, like, what I'm doing is gonna put them in a better space. Whether it's them seeing their daddy living his dream, or it's financially putting them in a situation to where you don't gotta worry, I got this. Like, you now get to see the better schools, you now get to see these things, and you get to travel and do those things because I already made it a thing. I said, while I'm on the road and I'm on the summertime and the kids out of school, I get y'all on the road with me.
Yeah.
We're going crazy.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
One thing about me, I am a very active father, and, it doesn't phase, and I had to come to terms with myself and say, it's I gotta be selfish too. Because I stopped doing music, because I felt like it was necessary to take care of my responsibilities, now I gotta be selfish for myself too.
Mhm.
Y'all are old enough that, well, I say they're old enough, but the twins are 7 and my daughter's 4. Y'all are old enough now to where y'all know daddy gotta go do these things because y'all ask me when I'm doing them. So while I'm gone, it ain't no surprise. I'll be back because when I get back, we going up. So yeah, ain't no quitting. We up now. For
It's
sure.
so crazy that you say you do it for your kids.
Mm.
That's like they're your number one fans.
Oh yeah,
At the end of the day, I feel like that's who in reality drives you as a parent
it does.
is your children, especially like you said, going if you hit the studio and they know that you were at the studio and then you get home and they're like, "What did you record? Can I hear it? Can I this?" That right there is like
Yeah.
you don't care about anything else.
I
Like,
don't. I don't, and they do that too. They do that. But you got something else new here, this and that. How I knew I was on a right path with music is my song I got called "Day Drinking." My daughter to this day does not know that's me, and I would play that song "Day Drinking," and she would sing it or she would want to hear it, and I'm like, that's so cool to me. Like singing this, and she don't even know.
It's you.
And it's me. And I just think about those things of like little moments to say, bro, you gotta keep doing it. Like they rocking with what you're doing. And to your point, hey, you had a good time in the studio? What you got? Can I hear this? You can hear this from son. Nah, there's other stuff. You got
Yeah.
when you get like 15. 14, I'm cool with, you know, you can listen to it at 14. I'm not gonna lie to you because I hate edited music. So, you know.
It's so amazing that you say that you're a very active parent, a very active father, not parent,
Mhm.
father. Because it I feel like that's very important,
Yeah.
important in children's life, especially regardless whether you're gonna be out on the road for days, but they know what you're doing.
Right.
The fact that they know if you're not doing music, if you're not doing anything music productive, you're at home with them.
Right.
So like I feel like you as a parent, you feel bad because you're like, oh, I'm really gonna do this for my kids, leave 5 days, not see them. Obviously, there's FaceTime. Thank God for FaceTime.
Right.
But at least they're gonna know, nah, my daddy's always home. My daddy's always here with me, but he's gotta do what he's
Yeah.
gotta do.
Yeah.
And you putting that, how do you say, like you're showing them that one, they need to chase their dream.
Absolutely.
Whatever they have set in mind, whatever they want to do. Because remember, I used to say I wanted to be a volcanologist.
A volcanologist?
Yeah.
What is that?
The ones who study volcanoes.
Oh, okay. Yes. That's something different.
Yeah.
Something different.
I used
Don't get
to
that.
say that. No, you can't. You can't even be married or have kids.
Oh,
Because
really?
that's a life that's like you're risking your
I
life.
didn't know that because
I got pregnant at 15. So when I found out, I was like, oh, well, there goes my dream.
yeah.
You know? So,
Here's the thing with that. Mm, I feel like here's the times now where there's a lot of teen pregnancies. I know I grew up with homies that had kids at 13 and here it is. I think one of my boys is what was he? Probably 32, 31, and his daughter is like 17 or something crazy. But when you said that, you remind me of my mom. And the reason why I say that it was because my mom wanted to sing. And she had my brother at 17 and thought that was the all end all be all. Like, still chasing dreams. You just gotta figure out now you done laid down and you done created a human life. How can you do both? And I say that because I'm glad that you're doing your platforms now and you're trying to make it do what it do now. But I don't want any of my kids to feel like that. And I, it's so natural for people to feel like that or for teenagers to feel like that. Had a baby. Think that's it for me. You know?
especially when your parents drill that in you.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, and not unfortunate. I feel like it is fortunate that my parents, you can't say disowned me.
Mhm.
It's not really disowned me because I still have communication with my parents. We don't have the best relationship. Because I've always been the black sheep of the family because I've been the type of person that I get it. I know what you're telling me. It's not good for me, but I'm still gonna do it because I want to do it.
Mhm.
So I've always been the black sheep, right? So I've always had like that difference with my parents, but I feel like when I did what I would get pregnant at a young age,
Sure.
they were like, "Oh, well, now you wanted to have kids. Now you got to figure out how life is gonna be from now on."
Yeah.
So it built me to the person that I am now because I'm very independent.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I gotta toot my own horn, but even though sometimes I do feel very exhausted and I'm not doing enough as a parent,
Mm.
but I've always been able to figure out things on my own.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the things that I feel I lacked on and I don't feel proud of is not chasing what I always wanted to do. And it's always been music. I've always loved singing. I would do talent shows for my parents. I would sing and dance in the garage with my high school friends and we would be dancing. Shout out to Dulce and Lizette.
Hey, shout out to those fat
Yeah.
beds.
We would like we would be in my garage dancing, doing choreography,
Yeah.
singing, or we'd be like, I remember my dad bought me like the CD player with my headphones, and I would walk from it was like 8 blocks from where we lived to high school, listening to music. I promise you, I'd be in walking and busting out moves, but then singing at the same time, you know.
They're
So
like, hey, the buzz, come on, girl. You like,
And you know what, who I used to love listening to a lot during that time? Missy Elliott.
I was gonna say Britney Spears. That was way off.
Oh, Britney Spears, I had her CD. Christina Aguilera, Treau, yeah. Genie in a Bottle.
Yeah, yeah.
I had Backstreet Boys and Sync.
I
Like,
just sung that yesterday. He was like, "Oh, why you taking it back?" Hey,
yes, like I grew up with all
yeah,
that
no, for sure.
music. So I was bullied through elementary, middle school, some high school, because once I got to high school, I kind of stopped feeding into all that bullshit and just started like,
Yeah, applying pressure.
yeah. So one of the things that would keep me level-headed and not feel mentally and emotionally the way that I actually did feel because of the bullying
Mhm,
was music.
for sure.
I would if I was feeling emotional during my class, I'll be like, "Let me put on my headphones real quick." And I'll get in trouble sometimes by my English teacher.
Yeah,
Yeah. She would be like, "Get those off, like, we're not," but it was the music that always, helped me.
yeah,
So, like you said, like, your mom wanted to do music. That's something I always wanted to do.
mhm,
I just didn't know how.
yeah,
I didn't know how until I started meeting like you said, meeting the right
right,
people, and then got into my first studio just to watch somebody record, and I was like,
yeah,
This is how you so you just pay studio time and you
yeah,
sing and record and then they do it? Oh, okay." I always thought you had to be, like, recruited by a record label, but I did not know, so now I'm just like, I'm chasing regardless of my age and how long it took me.
mhm,
I feel like you said, last year was a very tough time for me because I'm also going through a divorce.
mhm,
But that's what drove me.
yeah,
It's either gonna put me down or what am I gonna do with this situation that I'm dealing with right
for
now?
sure.
And it was that I was like, you know what? Let me hit the studio real quick.
Yeah,
And
good stuff.
from yeah, it's just I feel like it's in me. I know I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, for sure, and it's okay to learn those things. A lot of your a lot of music, you're inspired by your life. That's why when everybody tells you ain't no such thing as writer's block, you just ain't lived enough life yet. So when you get to a point where you're not inspired, go live life. I guarantee you, you will be able to put that thing to the pen. So to you, where it was more of, you use your divorce to fuel you. I tell my guys all day, I'm like, yeah, I'm in that situation where we're going through that thing. I was like, but whew, boy, did you choose the wrong time? Cause I'm up, baby. We outside, goddamn. So
Right?
and I'm popping my shit super crazy. So it's fuel to that. And you learn through trial and error, you learn through life experiences. And music is it's I when people ask me, describe your type of music, describe the music you make, I say it's the soundtrack to somebody's life because that's a fact.
Yeah.
Somebody's going through something similar. Like I didn't know you was going through that last year. Nobody knew I was really going through that unless I speak on it. And I really don't even talk about my personal life like that.
Hmm.
But again, I can probably do a record talking about those things. You like, damn, that resonated to me. My shit is a soundtrack to somebody's life. And you same thing to you. You never know who you are inspiring. Inspire these motherfuckers out here, man. Like, and again, you get writer's block, go live life. Why do you think there's so many artists that are of higher power or higher levels and they are super great out there and they talk about all this stuff I can't relate to.
Hmm.
I can't relate to trips to St. Bart's. I ain't never been there. Or, all of these places that they talk about, but I can talk about the shit I have done,
Yeah.
and you a lot of times you tie those things back to experiences. So,
No, for
yeah.
sure. How important is it for you, like in the music industry and for you,
Mhm.
like you said, lyrics, I feel like have to be something that you lived or you're either going through or you lived. You know, and I'm knocking nobody down or anything, but like a lot of these artists that are popping off,
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, the lyrics. W- what is so great about your lyrics?
Yeah.
Are you really living it? Are you really doing that? Did you live it? Like, I feel like because we grew up in different type of genres and the way that the music was back then,
Yeah.
I feel like we expect that now,
Oh, for sure.
and it kinda like when you don't see it, you're like, "Where has music gone?"
Yeah. That's because, man, and I'm gonna be honest, you can hear all them early records because I was a teen, I was 12, I was 13. As kids, we was popping shit, talking about sitting on 30s and I ain't had no car at 13, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, let's be real. But that was just the thing that we did because it was cool. But I personally feel like the lyrics, it's important to really talk about what you live because what if that record blows up? What if the record that you talking all the bullshit on is the record that take off, but you ain't got none of that on your socials or you're doing these interviews and they like, hey man, that song you got called, Diamond Teeth, and I ain't never seen you with a grill on. It's just it's really be like that. You be like, that's because I don't do that, but I think
That's so true, though.
it's the truth. But being authentic to your lyrics, that just again, you're creating that image or that is your brand of yourself or the brand that other people they see you and like, oh yeah, he talk about this, he talk about this. Like I'm this year I'm about to get back into my little bag because I was like, it I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm just like, man, I used to talk, I used to do at least 2 or 3 freaky songs on my records, and I'm just like, now I'm all winter this and relationship this.
Mhm.
That ain't me, man. I want to talk about sex, man.
Yes,
Just get
that
to it.
part.
No.
You know that's my lane right there.
No, but I no, like I'm just Virgo Nation.
For real.
No,
Yeah.
but for real though, like I do feel like there is a lost art when it comes to
Mm.
lyricism. And my alter ego, I call myself Penny Lattimore because the pen game, I can get in that bag. And it's a art that you gotta have because when we do talk about the 20% talent, 80% of what you do or who you know or where you're going, cool. But if you wanna make timeless records, you gotta have some substance, and you gotta be talking about something. Look at Folded. Look how Folded by Kalani, uh, went crazy. When Kalani did Folded, that one, that captivated everybody. I'm like,
Wow.
"Holy fuck," like, everybody. Or Tim's, it was just I can go on and on about just songs or Wiz. "See You Again?" That is certified multi-diamonds,
Mm.
like, the substance in that song, oh, it's about, the people that you missed,
Yeah.
people in your past, or you met whether it's somebody that passed away, that's substance. I'm here to make timeless music. I wanna make music that's gonna be around, so 15 years later, they can be like, "He was known, one of his biggest records was this."
Mm.
And because of what it talk about, because again, go back to being the soundtrack to somebody's life. If you don't got that, then, kudos to you again, if you can be pop off, but I don't wanna be a one-hit wonder. I want to transcend
Many hits.
in many, many,
And you
many, many,
will.
many, and continue to grow and continue to, sell out this or sell out that or yeah, yeah, you gotta be talking about something for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In my
I feel
opinion.
like we need
I ain't shit
freaky
on nobody.
songs too.
You say what? Freaky
We
so
need freaky
we do,
songs.
we do. I'm getting back to I got one, but I think about those things and people think I'm crazy. Like, I'm super PG on IG unless I'm, like, close friends with it like that, and but at the end of the day, I say that because that was a thing for me. Like,
Mhm.
I genuinely enjoyed that. I grew up in the Pretty Ricky era.
Yeah.
Pretty Willie era. Like,
Okay.
those are real
Yeah.
eras.
Mhm.
I just posted about that. On IG where they'll post the picture of the artist and they be like, "Post your favorite song," and they was doing Pretty Ricky. And I'm hearing all these goddamn lovey-dovey songs. I'm like, did we motherfuckers forget about that they nasty?
Uh-huh.
Posted a freak song. I'm like, did we forget that's who they are? Like,
Mm.
don't get on here acting like that y'all favorite songs is they relationship songs because they not.
Cisco.
Man. Hey, Cisco, I don't know. Cisco would for him, it was more his R&B.
But what he thought, like that song, the bang, bang, bang.
No, yeah, that definitely was, and that
Yeah.
became a pop hit. But like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like that ain't my lane. Like, you got to think when we did our show, and I was on satellite radio, and before we got to deal with podcasts, we used to interview porn stars, and that was our thing. I'm talking about from interviewing porn stars to going up to LA. Shout out to Misty Stone. You can see me right now, Misty. I hope you're doing better.
Hi, Misty.
You know, we used to be up there on Roxy Reynolds, which Roxy done calmed down a lot, but Roxy Reynolds, I never forget interviewing her, and you know, she sent me one of her tapes. I never watched it because it's memorabilia, but she wrote "Babe" on. I said she'll call me a baby and all kind of shit. But those are the things I find.
Ask you.
Hey, please, please. You see, Cashmere. I know you're older now. It's cool, but that's what we did. We interviewed porn stars, and they talked about the real shit, and that was my lane.
Yeah.
And then I ended up shelving my original podcast when I went to do my solo podcast, and that one was called Not for Virgin Ears. And we would do I would do a 30-minute segment. I would only do 30 minutes, and it'd be sex education, sex talk, real talk, and then I would allow the last 10 minutes for questions because we would have live. It was crazy, and people was like, "That guy's nasty." I know I am. I just don't talk about it, but I want to change the narrative and get back to that. Get back to that.
You know who inspires me?
Who?
Trina.
Oh, okay. Well, baddest bitch. Okay.
Yes.
Trina's crazy.
Yeah, I love Trina.
Trina's
You see Rosa at 12 years old listening to Trina. You know where Freaky Rosa came out
That's
from.
crazy. Yo, Trina was that one though. Trina set the tone.
Hell yeah.
But see, here's the thing. See, I'm a music aficionado. I think I said that word right and wrong. It doesn't matter. Y'all get what I'm saying. Trina was crazy, but when Kaya came out with My Back, that was so provocative. All you ladies pop your pussy like what? Whoa, wait, what?
You know what?
The song didn't even start hit a snare. All you ladies, I'm like, whoa. I'm like 12, and I'm like,
And you're like,
I wouldn't do it all that. Cause they're gonna be like, whoa, you gotta look cool on that boy. But no, yeah, you just that was right there. And I just think about like that shit was crazy. But then you gotta think about Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke really started that. Like where Uncle Luke, they were getting banned from radio. They put out an album talking about banned from radio, you know, because it was so provocative. And they didn't even really do like R&B type songs. It was pop that, pop that. It was crazy. And they got banned from radio. That is a lost art that we gotta bring back. And I'm telling you, gotta bring it back.
And it's like, you know what? Trina set the tone for a lot of women to come out and just sometimes girls have some things up here that we don't really say because I'm like, what are they gonna think or whatever? And Trina was like, nah, if they're able to talk about us that way, why can't we talk about what we want to do with men too?
Yeah.
So one of the things me and it's that.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what
rock with,
pinche Rosa, you know, freaky Rosa.
But you gotta rock with that. And it like to your point, like you gotta think about that. Like again, there is a lane for everybody, no matter what it is. Even if it's that route, like, hey, I like talking about this, or it's whatever you want to do. Even now, looking at is his name Phoenix Flexing?
Phoenix Flexing, yeah.
Like
Rubbers.
Like, and I'm being real, like this man found a lane, and it's like it reminds you of 80s, but he's talking 2026
Yep.
vibes.
Yeah.
Stacking chips, and then like it's crazy. And that song it's viral and it's very catchy. He found the lane and just like, hey, I like that. And I guarantee you this year you're gonna see other artists that are going to mimic that.
And it's
For sure.
he grew up he grew up with music and listening to his I if I'm not mistaken, I think in one of the interviews that he did with what's his name? Russell, what's his name? Russell.
Russell, I don't know.
One of the he went on a podcast or on a and
no, yeah, I get you.
they were asking him how when he showed in his he pulled out on his Volt and showed the rubbers and he was like, why isn't this out?
Yeah.
Why isn't this out? And the simple fact that he said, I like this type of music.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to this music because my parents his father would,
Yeah.
and for him the type of generation that he's in and to be like, fuck it, let me do it. And to get the emotion that he got off of that specific track, like I was like, yeah, bring it back, even though you're talking about 2026,
Yeah.
but you're bringing back that type of music.
And people rock with it, and it's very gimmicky. I'm not gonna say that his record is gimmicky, but it is a gimmick that you could run with. And but just to your point, like and I've never seen that interview, but shout out to him. He was probably never gonna put that out because you worried about like, if that's you, be you. Like
Yeah.
me saying like those type of records, I genuinely enjoy making, but I don't do it a lot. Be authentically you. And when you put it out, we're in a generation, we're in an era, fuck a generation, we're in an era now where social media can change your life. Granted, it can't just all be social media, but like it takes TikTok is hands down. Name another platform that is bigger than TikTok that has changed so many people's lives. We could say IG, but let's be real. TikTok has changed so many people's lives. I look at TikTok equivalent to the MySpace era.
I remember my
The MySpace era where you be able to upload your music and do your top 5 friends list, but you were play you on your personal page have the music playing. There were so many artists that got big off of that, that w even if they didn't get a record deal, they had ringtones, and
Yeah.
ringtones back in the day was crazy. So, I look at TikTok as the new MySpace when it comes for discovering artists. I'm just gonna be completely honest. And I have yet to master that because I just don't get on there like that. But the right people that has got famous off of that or has a sound that is trending, man, I tip my hats to you guys because go get a bag. I don't care what. I'm sorry. I don't care if your music's trash to me. Go get a bag.
Yeah.
Somebody likes it. Go get a bag.
Yeah. Not everybody's like, I think I said this before, not everybody has the same tempo as everybody else, and they're not gonna like but then there's other people that are gonna rock with you heavy.
Yep.
So it's like those are the people that make you what? They've told me to hop on TikTok. I just don't know how to work TikTok.
It's already easy.
And
I
I
just don't
don't
do it.
hop on it either. I'm like more on but I need to look into that TikTok thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What are like what I mean, I know you talked about you guys just did the finish that Keys to the what is it? Keys
Key to the City, Volume 3, we did.
Volume 3 with BCB. I mean, are there any more projects that you're gonna be bringing in the future or that you're working on?
100%. So again, right now we got the single in motion. I put out Hotter Than Tequila, which is the second
Okay.
single. Well, thank you. Which I haven't really put a lot of push behind it because of where Forever started going. After we reach a point where we're like, all right, let's start putting running promo. Because again, I won't fully invest into Hotter Than Tequila until the video is out for Forever. Like that, I feel like Forever, the video will cap the completion of that. And I'll be able to do other things, but I will keep Forever in the forefront. But other than that, I got Hotter Than Tequila, and I got I have an EP already done.
Wow.
It's just it was just on timing right now. So other than that, I'm gonna focus on those 2 singles. I'm gonna focus on the EP this year. Of course, we working with we got B, Dom, Bari, we got shit in the stash with that. And this year's is all about putting our names out there. Like, I'm on this Forever pop-up tour. We was just at Huntington Beach last week. We supposed to have a show tonight, but the show got canceled. It was a neo soul. I'm telling y'all,
Wow.
when y'all hear that neo soul set, and this is my first time actually taking my entire catalog into a neo soul bag. Like, if y'all are fans of like Jeezy, when Jeezy celebrated Trap or Die or TM 101, and he did it the anniversary, but it was with a live orchestra. Oh man, it's crazy. So the neo soul versions of all of these records that you hear today is phenomenal. And I'm just on a high right now. Like I think about life now. I'm like, damn, is this my life is really like wild and crazy. But that's what I'm working on this year. Um, I'm about to get back into my Jacket for Beats bag. That's where I got a lot of notoriety from when I was in my Jacket for Beats bag. 'Cause
Mhm.
you talked about Missy. Top of the last year, I did the Missy Elliott Rain. I did that one. And that
I
went
can't hear the light.
that went crazy, and so that was my thing. I was big on jacking for beats, like, back in the day. That's what we did. We jacked beats, and we just got on them. So, expect more of that this year. Expect the EP to come out. Yeah, I just got a lot going on, and I just hope everybody's still in tune rocking with me because we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're far from done. This year
Exciting.
it's exciting. And the summer has not even kicked off. Well, we got technically what, 3 days, 2 days left until summer officially launches. So it's like, do you think about we being on go since legit February? Like for real deal on full go mode? And I really say before that, I started at the end of the year because I got the distro deal at the end of the year and they wanted 15 records by the 9th of January. And I was like, say less. And I cooked. And shout out to the team over at Stream Music because at the end of the day, if they didn't put the battery in my back, we wouldn't have got records like Forever or How Did It Tequila, or I got a record called LeBron. I just did a one tape. Shout out to Juice, Cole. There's so many records that I have done this year because of the battery that was in my back, because of the position I was put in. So when I talked about, I did a thing, I was talking about plan A or plan A, I truly believe that. If you want to do this shit and music is your thing and podcast is your thing, there's no plan B. This is plan A and plan A. You don't have a backup. You shouldn't have a backup.
Right.
We get life happens. How old is your daughter?
My youngest or my oldest?
Okay, what's how old your oldest?
She's about to be 21.
21.
Mhm.
And how old is your youngest?
My youngest, she's 12.
12. So it's plan A or plan A.
Yeah.
Granted, you got an older one now, right? And you think about those things, and it's like you said, "Oh, I had a child at 15. It's the end all be all for me." You hated you waited so long, so now you're in these spaces. I feel like, yeah, we still gotta work, we still gotta provide for our children and our livelihood, but you got plan A and plan A one, plan A squared, because you're doing music and you're doing podcasts. Same thing with us. I'm doing music, I'm doing a podcast. So what's the backup plan? It can't be anywhere. Because if you got a backup plan, you're gonna stop doing the shit that you're doing. I need to take a break because I can come back to it.
That's
No,
true.
stop doing that shit and go hard, go crazy.
When you said that, honestly, when I heard you say that, I was like, shit, that is so true. Like you shouldn't have in mind you're gonna fail. You should always know you're gonna do that shit and you're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I before you said that, I would always be like, am I doing too much? Is this like, am I overworking myself? But when you said that, I was like, no. No. I know what lanes I wanna be in, and I know what I wanna do, and then that's what I'm gonna do, and then my kids are my main battery. They're my battery, like I mentioned before, when they know that I'm gonna go to the studio and I come home and they're like, "Can we hear?" And they hear, they'll put it on like, either on the TV or on the speaker, and they're just listening, and my son, he's autistic. He'll sit and he'll listen, and then he'll be like, "Wow, mom, that's you?" "Yeah, that's me." "But why did you say this?" Or, certain things, and or I don't even show them a lot of my things, but like
Right.
the ones that I do, and he'll be like, "Oh, but you were heartbroken like that?" I'm like, "Oh, puppy,
You
don't
don't
have
embarrass.
no idea." I might seem like I'm okay, but and I feel like I mentioned before, I'm learning a lot from you guys,
For sure.
and I love being around you guys, even though we all have our own lane. Everybody's working, everybody's busy, everybody this. But every time I'm around you guys, I soak in as much as I can because I know that you guys bring it in a genuine way, and we're Virgos. So
Facts. The best of the best.
yes, for sure. And there's no plan B, there's a plan A, and plan A is you're gonna make shit work
You got to.
regardless.
You got to. And you stay grounded in that and understand that. I look at it also as a thing where you gotta be comfortable being uncomfortable. When you're in these situations, you're on go. It's go, it's go, it's go mode. So really locking in and understanding, like, when you think about where you was at first, do I want to go back to that lifestyle? No, I don't. I don't want to go back to those things because I've worked so hard to get where I'm at. This can be gone tomorrow and you're be reminiscing on what could have been. That's why I strongly believe, like, you have a plan, you stick to that. The backup, if you have a backup plan, the backup plan would be, how do I continue plan A?
That part.
And so if we're gonna have a backup plan, it's how do you continue doing what you already do? Think of it that way. You're gonna keep grinding. You just keep putting in the work.
through your journey, through your music journey, friends,
Mm.
friends that you had or you have before starting it,
Mm.
how I don't I like the reason why I ask because obviously you've been in this journey way longer than me. I'm a baby, like, taking my steps. When you have friends that before you meet, you start doing what you have to do. Have you lost them? How does that work? How does being in the industry and having friends that aren't probably all there supportive,
Mhm.
and how does that work?
I wouldn't personally say that I lost friends in a sense because not because of music, it's because as we got older, everybody has their own lives, and it gets to a point where y'all just don't live the same ways, or there were things that maybe I didn't agree with that some of them did. But I genuinely, the same people I grew up with, I'm still cool with to this day.
Wow.
So when you think about like brothers, I done gained new brothers since I've been out here, but the same people that I started doing music with when I was 15, 16, like these are my brothers to this day. And it's kind of hard to say friends because they become family.
Okay.
Through my journey with music, I have had a lot of people that I did rock with that were supportive, but as soon as I went cold or I said I'm done, or this is and that, it's the end all be all for them too with that. It wasn't until I started getting this I'm not gonna say it was instant success, but it was like a sudden I started moving more and I had more moving pieces that my DM started getting flooded. Hey, bro, we gotta do a song together. We gotta do this. Where was y'all at when I was doing it and I wasn't where you deemed it was necessary, or you felt like you was too out of reach? Because friends, I had friends that were in the industry too, and that did way more than me. Yeah, I wasn't hitting my line to do features. I wasn't doing none of that, but I would still support them. So I really call them friends? It's a great,
Right.
but the brothers that I have, especially from back home, I've been rocking with them since I started. Like they were also the reason why, or they helped me become the artist I am today
Wow.
because they put me on my first. Shout out to Bola, shout out to Chris, and he go by Styles, but they really were the first ones that put me out on those bigger platforms.
Wow.
Like I can always count back to, and I think I said this on one of my last interviews, but we had our first show at a skating rink. And if you're familiar with like Tennessee, everybody goes to the Gatlinburg where you go like the cabin. It's kind of similar to Big Bear, like out here.
Okay.
And Gatlinburg, it was a big thing. And there's a skating rink called Spin City. I was 16, and my mom let me miss school to go on the road. And we got to Gatlinburg, and our picture, big ass jumbotron. And
Wow.
I'm like, this is crazy. Like I'm really out here doing it. And we had our first gig, and that was on some it was crazy because when you think about as a child, and I would watch, like I grew up a fan of all the kid artists. I was a fan of Bow Wow. I was a fan of Romeo. I was a fan of a lot of these people, Sammy, and you would see them run through malls and all these people that's hurting them,
Yeah.
a crowd of kids, the girls, that we got them same vibes that night.
Wow.
I I can say this now because I'm grown. I remember signing an adult, like a woman's, like, yes. She was like, "Can you give me your autograph? And I want it right here." I'm 16, and and if Bola mama had seen that, she'd have been like, "Oh hell no, get your ass,
You did?
no, I'm gonna tell your mama," but that they gave me my first piece of success. And that's why when you said like what is it like losing friend? These are my brothers, and I'm the only one still doing music now, and they helped me become the artist I am today. So shout out to my brothers because
Shout out to them.
when they're
Staying
for staying
true
to the end,
to true.
to true. You've been there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a bar right there.
That's a got right. You got to say, well,
Well, any any advice that you would give anybody upcoming that still doubting to get into the music, but know that that's what they wanna do.
Absolutely. Put that shit out. Work. When you think about how much good are you doing with things that sit on your hard drive or
Mm,
things that sit in a file on your computer or, at the studio? If you have a talent and you wanna do music, like, somebody's gonna like it. But here's the truth behind it is you do have to do the groundwork for people to
mm,
hear it, though. And you gotta get out of that space where you feel like you're scared to do things. Scared don't help you do anything. So, if you have a talent, whether you think you're talented or not, the beautiful thing about doing music or being a student of the business is you're always learning. So the more you work, the better you can be. I You hear my music from back in the day to where it sound like now, I sound nothing like I did
mm,
back in the day. I don't even play a lot of those records from back in the day because from breath control to
mm,
how I approach records where I could have taken my time and did multiple takes and took the best pieces from records to make a magical record.
right.
You gotta think about those things, like, me being a student of the business is where I listened to industry records at one point. I was like, "Damn, a lot of my favorite artists don't even do ad libs." So, I don't do ad libs. And the real reason why I don't do ad libs is because it was just never my thing, but I felt like I was obligated because I'm from the South, and every record in the South, "Yeah, uh, that ain't me," but it became me staying diligent to the work and the work ethic, and I created a sound for myself. So, if this is something you wanna do, just do it. Like, don't be scared. Don't wear your heart on your sleeve. Understand that there will be people that don't like what you do, but that's where you keep going. You keep going. You don't make music for nobody else. You make it for you. If it feels good to you, it feels good to you. That you can create a cult fan base out of that. Just get it. Just get it.
You heard it from True,
Keep it true.
the one and only, one of many. Well, thank you. Thank you for giving me the honor of you coming on the pod.
It was a pleasure.
I've been wanting to ask you, but I was like, "Oh, no, am I worthy of it?"
That's crazy.
I'm just
Right, listen, I'm not and y'all everybody that been around me, y'all know we rock
yeah,
and,
for sure.
it's all love. I ain't never been nothing outside of that. I'm super down. Somebody asked me today, it was like, "Man, I've been wanting to ask y'all 3," he was like, "Man, what does it take to get a feature from you?" He was like, "What does the bag cost?" So this, and that. But it's one of those guys that's been around. I'm like, "Bro, just hit me, bro." Like,
Mm,
I'm reachable. I'm not anything that I feel like I'm too big for this. I am honest, and I tell people if I'm not feeling the record, I will tell you I'm not feeling the
yeah,
record
that's yeah.
because it's not for me. But other than that, like, call me for the podcast and you got an event going, if I'm available, I'm there. Like, I'm that type of person, and I've always been the type of person. I don't know how to be anything different. So we could have been and got this in a long time ago. So,
I know,
but
huh?
I'm glad it's no better time than the present, and it was meant to happen at this divine moment. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
for
you having me.
sure, for
For
sure.
sure, for sure.
Well, thank you, and tune in. See ya.